Greetings, welcome to Pop's Collection, where we dissect and reflect on a movie or TV show from my Pop's Collection. I'm Ron Tweedy, joining me as Pops, and today we're going to be talking about Big Hero 6.
Yes. Hello, everybody. Happy that you're with us today, listening. And Ron, so nice to be able to see you in our little Zoom thing. It's pretty cool.
Yep.
And real happy too. You look good for being able to cut the grass and everything. It's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
Well, good. Big Hero 6. So, were you able to get the picture of the comic?
I mean, I was able to find, obviously as a, person who has a subscription to Marvel Unlimited, there was quite a bit I had access to. They don't actually have the original version on Marvel Limited for whatever reason, but they do have, I was able to find it on another website. So anyway,
Right.
yeah.
The first one was in 1998.
Right.
In September. It actually was a combo comic.
Okay.
Sunfire and Big Hero 6.
Right,
Number
right.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it came out. Yeah, that's the one. And if you see the green character,
Mm-hmm.
that's Baymax.
Mm-hmm.
A far cry. Do you have the Baymax from the movie or no?
Well, I figured it'd be interesting for us to take a look at, but you could see Baymax is not always in that beast form. He's kind of a robot and he transforms. So you can see that's Baymax there in the corner with Hero. So it's not, Baymax is not always that. So
No,
you have that.
They call him actually a synth former, Synth.
Yeah.
So they call him a synth former, and
Yeah.
he's supposed to be his bodyguard,
Right.
butler,
Yep.
and also this battle dragon, they called it.
Right. So basically, he's kind of like Vision. Vision's a synthezoid, so synth former is a little bit different. But the interesting thing here, this is him transforming here, is that obviously, I guess the impetus behind it is that we have Sunfire, who was a mutant from the X-Men, and so having that, and saying, well, obviously we should figure out more Japanese superheroes. So Big Hero 6 was a Japanese team of folks, and back in about 10 years later in 2008, Chris Claremont and I forget the other guy's name. Let's see, David Nakayama did a new version, and you can see here this is the lineup that we're almost pretty much familiar with. You got your Baymax, Hero, Honey Lemon, Gogo Tamago, Wasabi no Ginger, and of course Fred over there. So
Yes, and that looks a lot closer to the this is the movie that we're gonna be discussing is the Disney version.
right.
It is not, even though the comic was put out by Marvel,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't a Marvel production from Marvel Studios. It was from Disney Studios.
Oh, the film. Yes.
Yes, the film. So
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of neat that it was actually created not by any one person, by what they called Man of Action,
Okay.
which was a conglomerate of a lot of different writers and artists
Mm-hmm.
originally, and that's how they give it the credit on the movie,
Mm-hmm.
that based on characters created by Man of Action, not by any particular name.
Okay.
Which I thought was kind of interesting, because they had to have had some individual create those different creations.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was kind of neat that Disney went with the second gen version of it, and I think that kind of made it more appealing to the younger audience, maybe to give it that PG rating.
Well, I mean, they've taken a lot of, I think, liberties with the source material. I mean, the first thing is that the setting is different. We don't have it's not set in Japan at all, but it's set in this city called San Francisco, which is obviously a combination of West Coast United States and Japanese stuff, which makes sense. I mean, obviously there's a large Japanese American population in San Francisco, so that makes perfect sense. But at the same time, you don't get the same full Japanese flavor you do with the comic as you do with the film.
Right. Well, that's kind of common with animes.
Sure.
There are a lot of different animes that use that same type of thing. I believe Ghost in the Shell does a similar type thing where the cities are like,
yeah,
a conglomeration of American and Japanese names. But what I thought was really interesting about Disney's approach to this
mm-hmm.
was that, in the original story, Hero still had his mother. They didn't mention anything about a brother originally.
Right.
That his father was the one who passed, and also that Baymax, his father's what they call it, engram, his brain's engram was etched onto Baymax, so that he kind of had still a father-son relationship. Whereas when we got to the Disney version, mother and father were gone when he was 3 years old. So he's lived his life. He graduated from high school at 13. So basically, he's now a 14-year-old high school graduate, and he's had the last 10 years. His brother has been the father figure. So now we have Baymax with Tadashi's, his brother, imprinted on Baymax, which we find out later in the film. But I thought it was interesting how they chose to use that approach instead of trying to do the father thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that was pretty cool with it. I also felt this is kind of a origin / revenge movie, would you say?
Yeah, it is.
Yes. And I think that we've got to talk about his microbots.
Uh-huh.
That when he was fighting those robots, I remember when that was a big thing, and that they used to actually have TV shows.
BattleBots.
I thought it was really cool. And then he's got this little Yoki bot and we figure out he's so smart that he's able to scam the big guy by, little nice yellow happy face and then mean red face.
Right.
And but it does get him in trouble.
Yeah.
And we learn that his brothers want to help him out, but his brother wants him to do something with his life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right. And as a brother, I guess you could feel that way about your younger brothers too. I mean, I guess it's a natural thing for the older brother to feel somewhat, I don't know if you could say responsible. Not responsible is not the word, but that you want to see them succeed, and you try your best to be a good example for them. It's a lot of pressure on the older child, whether it's older sister or older brother. It's definitely a lot of pressure, because as you grow up, you become a father, and you have to be that father image to your children. You also have that extra added pressure, which I'm going to say is self inflicted or whatever, that you try to set that same example for your brothers or sisters, as the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a lot of pressure for an older child. But anyways, I'm going down there, a different rabbit hole. what did you think about the way the movie started? Did it remind you of any other movies or?
Not in particular. I mean, you have, like you said, the. Actually, I kind of take it back. It seems more like the opening of the remake of Star Trek, where you have, Kirk is like a nameless kid or whatever, and they're like, yeah, you wouldn't like the Starfleet thing; it's too challenging or whatever, and then it just makes them want to, go to Starfleet even more. So it's the same thing with Hero and Callahan, kind of the same thing.
Yes. Yes. Okay, good deal. Yes, that was exactly the same thing I thought about it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, good. Great minds think alike, I'm going to say. But yes, I thought it was so interesting that he chose that route, and then we get the whole story based on those microbots.
Yeah, yeah,
And
that's
we
certainly
and
a big plot point to the film.
yes, and I think that the way that Disney did it with the Kabuki mask, you really in the beginning didn't know who the villain was. You had an option there that you mostly thought it was Cree,
Right, right.
so and I want to ask you, did you watch it with Piper in them or?
Yeah, it was hard to convince Piper to start watching it, but then once she saw like some of the characters, like Honey Lemon, of course, she was really into it afterwards. And then by the time the movie was over, she's like, "Can we watch it again?" So it's one of those things. So
Well, good. I mean, let's face it, it was a very entertaining movie. It uh, made your emotions go in a lot of different directions.
yeah,
So it grabbed you and sucked you in. By the end, how could you not feel a little teary eyed about what was going on at the very end with Baymax?
sure, absolutely.
So they did a quality job in that. And I think they did a quality job in the way they chose the voice actors for the characters
Oh, sure.
and how they made them. I
Mm-hmm.
thought it was interesting that, like Honey Lemon, when she said hero, it was kind of like hero, she like said it probably more how it would be in Japan, I would think,
Yeah, that
you
is
know.
the proper Japanese pronunciation.
Right. So she was the only one that did it that way,
Yeah.
so it was kind of, I thought it was kind of cool how they mixed that up. And I thought Wasabi's character was really who was Damon Wayans Jr. Wayans Jr. I
Mm-hmm.
can't pronounce his name, but
Yeah.
he did a wonderful job playing that role the way he was. Everything's got to be in its place.
Yeah, yeah,
And
that's kind of a departure from the Wasabi no Ginger character in the comics. As he's Japanese, obviously, and he's a chef. So I mean that was a little bit of a different take on the character.
well, yes, and also like we already discussed, Baymax being totally different.
Mm-hmm.
Gogo also was a little different, but she was closer to
Yeah,
the
much closer.
comic book. And Honey Lemon, well, she also was a little bit of a departure from it, but
Not much
they,
though.
no, just a little tiny bit, but
Yeah.
it was good
Uh-huh.
nonetheless. Every part was done real well. I thought it was the car chase after Kabuki and the microbots came across the water,
Mm-hmm.
and how Baymax was still in safety mode when Hero started falling out of the seat, and he's like, "Oh, seatbelt, safety. Always wear a seatbelt. Safety
Yeah.
first."
Uh-huh.
Yes. It, I just really enjoyed that.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the well, most of it was funny. There was, like I said, they stretched the comedy and put it in the right spots, but gave you suspense
Yeah.
and other stuff involved in that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I also the another good part for me was when he went to the police station to report the theft of his microbots,
Yeah.
and we got the tape thing,
Yeah.
and I think there was a scene at the end of the movie where they showed the police officer and then a new tape machine with a little note on it,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's at the
and
credits. Yeah.
yeah, it was in the credits. So uh, I enjoyed that. And another thing that I want, the part with the balloons in the sky,
Yeah.
that kind of reminded me of Batman, the animated series,
Okay.
right? Weren't there balloons in that too? I'm
I mean,
trying to remember.
the opening credits had a blimp, but
Yeah,
with spotlights. So maybe you're thinking of that.
maybe, or I know there was a Batman where that was part of it.
Okay.
I just can't remember which one it was, but
Mm-hmm.
it'll come to me.
Yeah, I think they were not necessarily balloons. They were more like wind turbines for like wind energy because they had like engines on them. So I think it was more like that as opposed to balloons themselves.
Okay, all right. Well, yeah, I would kind of agree with that. So I guess it must be, we'd have to say it was in the near future, far future, where they're attempt to make more power. And I guess that would probably go well in San Francisco. I guess there's a lot of wind out there, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know.
Never been there.
No.
Don't know if I want to, but
No.
maybe.
No.
Um, what struck you as the part that you liked best about the movie?
Well, I mean, you have a movie that is clearly. I appreciate the fact that it's a family-friendly movie. So and it doesn't play to some of the other cheap things that most family movies would do. So this is definitely more high class than Shrek or something like that. But it still has a lot of heart. It has the plays on your emotions like a Pixar movie does. And there's a brief cameo of a Frozen character in the film. You probably didn't catch it, but when they were training with their new suits and everything, and I forget who it was. I guess it was Baymax when he was shooting his arm or whatever.
Yes, yes, and he went into the statue.
Yeah, that statue is actually Prince Hans from Frozen. So anyway,
Oh, that was pretty awesome that you caught that, picked that up.
well, we had to freeze frame it to confirm that. But the movie itself, I think it's good. Because you have this part of the story. Obviously, like you said, it was a revenge story, and Baymax as a healthcare companion, has this assumption that if Hero is able to get his revenge, it will improve his mental state and make him feel better. And very similar to a lot of Batman stories, it ends up not being that way, right? And so you have that message in there. And then the other thing, which I thought was interesting, is that you have two characters who lost someone very important to them, and the difference between Callahan and Hero is basically time, right? Because if Hero was going to go down that route, he would have ended up being as bad as Callahan was. He, almost got that point where he ended up, wanting to commit murder
Well,
based on that.
yes.
And Callahan on the same time is stealing and being deceptive and doing all of those terrible things just to get his revenge for the daughter he thought he lost, which ends up
Not
not happening.
being so. But uh, yes, even to the point that he stole the microbots and he was willing to take out Hero. He
Yeah,
already took out his brother, and it was like, he Hero tells him, "Hey, Tadashi went in there to save you. He goes, well, that was his mistake, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Too bad, so sad, kind of. He like really all he's so motivated and engulfed and consumed with this revenge that nothing else matters.
Yeah.
And we
So
had a glimpse of that with Hero.
yeah. So the question is, do you think? So we find out later on that Abigail is not really dead. I guess the question is Tadashi really dead?
Well, they did have a teaser at the end of this movie,
Well, yeah.
which I thought might uh, link to another movie, but we haven't seen it as of yet.
No.
If that is even in the works, we don't know.
No, we don't.
Because we did get a Big Hero 6, the series,
Right.
that they had on Disney Plus. I think it was 3 seasons. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, it
Uh,
is.
Unfortunately, there's not a lot of DVDs about that. I got one DVD from this series, but it was only like 8 or 10 episodes. So unfortunately, that's all that was available, and I don't know if anything else will be.
Yeah.
What did you think about the hairy baby?
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Yeah, Mochi, I guess we call the cat comic relief.
Yeah.
I guess we could. Aunt Cass is Cat. The voice actor for her was really good.
Uh-huh.
The different things she really did kind of play that part, of the scatterbrained aunt, or
Yeah.
she did a great job of that. Yeah, right. I'll make some hot wings and it makes your face go all, yeah.
Yeah.
It was done really good, I thought. Also, we had some other interesting characters in there. Real shortly, we had the Yama character that was
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be the big bad, which I thought in the beginning that maybe he might be the villain in the story, but he was just basically, for the beginning, just to show his, I guess, hero's ability to be a con man, a smart con man.
Yeah, I don't think there's a whole lot of yeah, that was kind of incidental to the rest of the movie,
Right.
the BattleBot, underground BattleBot thing. So
Yes. But it so reminded me of, it almost had the look of that TV show when they had real battle bots,
yeah, I
It
suppose.
was, yeah, just not as well developed as you can do with animation.
Mm-hmm.
My tread flat and the saw blade on the top with an arm,
Yeah. Yeah.
but nothing like a real robot type thing.
Uh-huh.
But it was a nice little call to that.
Yeah.
Uh, and I think we got the Tadashi father type figure when, after he made the attempt to kill Callahan,
Mm-hmm.
and Baymax said that Tadashi was there, and he, took it figuratively, and then he showed him, and I think it changed his heart at that time. At least that's the way it was in the story. So, and then we get the big uh, confrontation between Callahan and Creed,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and we get that part of the story, and we see still that he's willing to take anybody's life. As far as he's concerned, the only thing he wants back is his daughter, and he said, "I'm going to take away everything from you that you took away from me."
Well, he,
And
he didn't know that his daughter was still alive, so he just wanted to
no,
destroy everything. So it wasn't even to get his daughter back.
right. The fact of the matter was is that he Cree says, "I'll give you anything you want." And he says, "Well, I want my daughter back."
Right.
And lo and behold, he's going to get his wish, but only after he's probably, I don't know if he'll ever see his daughter. I don't know what his jail sentence is going to be, for all of the destruction that he caused.
Right.
So, but yeah, I thought that was, and when Baymax and Hero went through the machine,
Yeah.
it almost reminded me of Ant-Man.
Oh yeah, it totally was.
you know?
Yeah, that was a quantum tunnel.
Yeah, no question. So,
Yeah.
and for
Now,
animation,
see, I think what needs to happen now is the new movie, the Quantumania, the Ant-Man and the Wasp one. When they go into the quantum realm, they have to come across that Baymax that was left in there.
that would be way cool,
He
wouldn't
needs
it?
to be in there. In fact, I don't know. I don't know. To me, it seems like he might already have been in there because I think Ant-Man and the Wasp came out after this, right? Because this was 2014. Ant-Man and the
Yes.
Wasp was, yeah, way later than that. So, anyway.
Yes, but he didn't run across them. Maybe they'll run
Yeah.
across them
Well,
in Quantumania.
yeah, I was just thinking maybe he was like, they put in like a little Easter egg in the background there, but I don't
That
know.
would be way cool,
Yeah.
you
Anyway.
know? Okay, so um we had a good story, confrontation, revenge.
Yep.
Uh the good guys won, and now they've become a superhero team. Unlike, like you said, the government in the comic book, the Japanese government, that went and searched everybody out.
Right. Right.
Whereas this just was from the nerd school where they
Yeah.
were all going. So,
Yeah. Exactly. It's almost like Big Hero 6 was the Japanese answer to Canada's Alpha Flight in a way, or the US's X Factor back in the beginning of it. Basically a national organization of the superheroes.
yes,
And to provide more context to that, or to more, solidity between the two. I mean, two of the members were mutants in the original Big Hero 6. You had Sunfire and Silver Samurai. So,
right. Well, Silver Samurai, actually, in the comics, Hero didn't want to be involved with it. He was unimpressed with Silver Samurai
right.
in
But
the
he was
beginning.
still in the team though.
Yes, yes. But yes, which in the Wolverine movie, Silver Samurai was a bad guy.
Yeah, yeah, but with Marvel, bad guys, good guys, I mean,
This is true.
Hawkeye and Black Widow were bad guys originally. So,
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, I guess it depends on what comic version. The later comic version with Hawkeye, which came out with a new origin, which was around the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man time.
yeah.
Ultimate Spider-Man, they did a Hawkeye.
Well, Ultimates is different. It's a totally different timeline. But I'm talking about the original '60s Avengers comics. Hawkeye
Oh yes,
was a cheap
a
criminal,
bad guy.
and then he was part of the second lineup of Avengers after that. Became reformed and reformed criminal, but he originally was a thief.
And we know Black Widow's history, so which leads me to the end. And
Yeah.
two, we did get a picture that was a cameo early in the film when they go to Fred's house,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
which he has a pretty good size house,
Yeah. Well, it's his parents' house.
but they're on an island, right? Uh,
Parents are apparently, yeah.
yeah, so far as we know. But we get through the credits and we get to that teaser part,
Uh-huh.
and then we actually get a cameo.
Right, right. Yep.
And what do you think of the way that they uh, drew Stan Lee in that?
No, I'd say it's pretty darn accurate.
Yeah, other than the wings on his hair in the front. But
Yeah.
then he came up with the line, wearing frontwards, backwards, part of the Fred's thing.
Yep.
And we saw a lot of costumes in there, which led to me a lot of speculation,
Yep.
was mom and dad superheroes, originally, or,
Yeah.
why would they have all those costumes in there? And they had some, I don't know, magnets, I guess there was some things in there.
Yeah.
But I was going to look into that further, but I couldn't really find anything. So I just said, oh, you know what? We'll just leave it for speculation. There might be some people out there that know a little more about it.
Sure.
As far as maybe it was an Easter egg, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But kind of disappointed that they didn't do another movie, because they did real well on that movie.
Yeah.
It
Well,
actually,
I think the fact that yeah, that doesn't make sense to me either, because the reality is that, the one of the things that's marked this era of the Disney studios, the animated studios, is that they've been doing sequels all over the place. I mean, you have Wreck-It Ralph,
absolutely.
Frozen got a sequel, so I don't know. It's weird.
Right. And yes, they've done quite a few sequels. They did the same thing with, oh gosh, what was the other one? Oh, well, anyways, this movie for that year, for 2014,
Mm-hmm.
it was the highest grossing animated feature film of all times at that time.
Yeah.
Which, only had a budget of 165 million, and it made over 658 million, So, I mean, almost 3 times as much, maybe more than that, almost four. Let's see. Yeah, almost 4 times as much. So come on.
Yeah.
Really? And like I said, they teased us to believe that that was what it was going to be, but nothing. So I guess we'll see.
It still could happen,
Right. But I wonder if Stan Lee's death had anything to do with it not happening.
I don't foresee that. I mean,
well, if they had thoughts of using him as a character in that, I don't know.
I doubt that,
because kind of he was in the teaser at the end.
Yeah.
All right. So I wasn't sure about that. So anything else you want to discuss about the movie itself, or?
No, it's a great film. It has broad appeal. Kids will love it. Parents will like it too. Just it's a
single adults would like it too.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I find myself wanting to, we've talked about this before, but the kind of the world that they build in this, it reminds me very much of like Phase 1 MCU. It's like this, I don't know, just like this technology has progressed enough to where it looks like it's eliminating some of the more mundane things that we have to deal with in everyday life. You could just download and fabricate something with a 3D printer and build whatever you have as an idea in your brain, stuff like that.
Right. If you notice that in Hero's garage,
yeah,
he has a 3D printer.
Right. That's my point.
Yeah. So I mean, that's stuff that's very commonplace. Well, one thing that you don't see in this movie, and I imagine that it's more thought of in real life, is that having things like that in the house would cause more terrorism, because you have people that could make plastic guns that they could take on planes and stuff and get past the metal detectors.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. That's not I guess it would be the paranoid uh, view of things, but I mean, because there is people that would say having those things in the house could help a lot. Being able to fabricate something that you broke
Yeah.
in the house, to
Right.
be able to just not have to go anywhere to have
Yep.
it already.
Yep.
So it kind of reminds me, like I said, I don't know if you've seen the Ghost in the Shell movie.
Yeah. Long time ago.
Right. So, I mean, the city kind of looks a little like that too,
I suppose.
and that also, along with the
I don't know. To
Ghost
me,
in the
I don't know. To me, like that city looks a lot more dirtier and grimier, and the people there are way more nasty. In Ghost in the Shell, it's more of like a futuristic hellscape as opposed to like this almost utopian vision of what the future looks like. You know.
well, you got the bright side and then you got the dark side,
Yeah, but even
right?
like the dark side of the battle bots, that was like very much not scary at all.
Well, it was a PG movie. I mean, come on.
I'm not complaining. It's not a value judgment. I'm just saying way different.
Right, right. I agree. Okay. Well, I would agree with that. I'm just saying that the concept
Yeah.
of the city might be similar. Or maybe it was more like Blade Runner.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd actually say Blade Runner is way more close because again, takes place I think in LA or somewhere in California. Blade Runner does, but what you saw in the opening scene is you had a lot of Japanese influence in the future there, um, very much so. So I would agree with that.
Okay, good, good. Well, we came up with that. Anything else you want to talk about?
Good movie. Go see it. Fire it up on Disney Plus. Watch it with the kids.
Yes, they will love it. And if you have a daughter, she might want to watch it again
Right.
after you're done.
Yeah.
So, uh, yeah, okay. So then I guess the only thing left would be to give it a rating.
Yep.
So, how do you feel about this movie? You did say go see it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely a recommend. I give it an 8. It's a fantastic film. It's not going to blow your socks off and be like, oh, this is the greatest thing ever. But for what it is very good at what it does.
Yes, I thought it was kind of interesting about this. I would almost agree with you. I'm going to go a little bit lower and say 7.5.
Yeah.
But I thought it was kind of interesting how many different animators that they had that were involved in just the different lighting of this whole animation thing, which first time I saw it, I really wasn't paying attention to it. But uh, the second time around, after seeing all of the names that were just involved in the lighting part of it, then I took a quicker look at it and was a little bit kind of in awe at how they had done it with the shadows and everything. It really
Mm-hmm.
made it look real.
Yeah.
The only thing that makes me give it a little lower is that I think that I would have liked it to be a little more like the comics, but again, it's not bad. It's
Yeah.
very, very good. Enjoy
Okay.
it. You will
Yeah.
love it. I
Yeah.
promise.
Okay.
All right, good.
All right. Well, let's wrap it up there. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Pops Collection. If you have any feedback, feel free to send us an email, popscollectionpodcast@gmail.com, and like us on Facebook. Write us a review on iTunes, and or leave us a nice comment, thumbs up on YouTube. But we'll see you next week. Goodbye. God bless.
Goodbye. God bless, and tell your friends.